Hello and welcome to all my dear students. I hope you all are doing fine. So let's start with the second lecture of the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare, in which we are going to talk about some more benefits of microbes in human life in making chemicals, enzymes and some bioactive molecules. Plus we will also see that how these microbes help in sewage treatment. First, let's make the list of the microbes including bacteria and fungi, that so many important chemicals we obtain from them. Like for example, fungus called Aspergillus niger. You must have heard the name. This is a fungi, Aspergillus niger. It is a very good source of citric acid. So Aspergillus niger, which is a microbe fungus, from this we obtain citric acid, a chemical which acts or which helps in preservation. Second, similarly, there is one bacteria called Acetobacter aceti. It's a bacteria which is used again in making one of the preservative called acetic acid. That is your vinegar, right, which you use in making your noodles and all, as well as in as preservative also it is being used. Next important chemical that we obtain from some microbe is butyric acid, which is obtained from bacteria Clostridium butylicum. Clostridium butylicum. It is again a bacteria from which we obtain butyric acid. The name itself suggests. One more bacteria name you can write, with which you can obtain lactic acid, used in making milk to curd, or you helpful in making curd from milk, is lactic acid bacteria, or also called as lactobacillus bacteria, from which we obtain lactic acid. So these are the list of the chemicals obtained from different bacteria and fungi which are used to make human life better. Apart from the chemicals, enzyme is written. Enzymes like you can say protease and pectinase. Beta, these are the two enzymes which are obtained from the microbes. See, you must have seen when you make juices at home, they are not as clear as the juices which you buy from the market. You bring apple juice from the market, it's completely clear. You must have drank Appy Fizz, it's absolutely clear. But if you make the same juice in your home, it's so many, it's not clear. In simple words, it's not clear. Why? Because in our home we don't use these enzymes obtained from the microbes to clear the juice. These enzymes, they further digest some portions of the juice to make them clear. So protease and pectinase are added to obtain clear juice. Correct? Then one more enzyme I can recall is lipase enzyme. Lipase enzyme, beta, it is used in basically detergents. This lipase enzyme is used in detergents in order to clear your oil stained laundries. So detergents are used for washing your clothes. Why? Because they are rich in the enzyme lipase, again may be obtained from microbes. Yeast, you all know. Yeast, it is used as baker's yeast as well as brewer's yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. It is used in making ethanol. It is also one of the chemical. Ethanol you can obtain from yeast. It is used in making, you have seen, fermented beverages that are obtained from yeast. Yeast helps in the fermentation of the substrate to release ethanol, alcohol, which is then taken as one of the beverage. Correct? So these are the certain chemicals and enzymes. Now let's talk about the bioactive molecules also, which are used. Okay, wait. which are used in human welfare, which are used for human welfare and obtained from microbes. So basically there are three which you have to remember: statins, cyclosporine A, and beta third is streptokinase. So these are three bioactive molecules which are obtained from different organisms. Different organisms, like statin is obtained from a organism called, it's a fungus called Monascus purpureus. Cyclosporine A is also obtained from a fungus called Trichoderma polysporum. Trichoderma polysporum. Whereas streptokinase is obtained from a bacteria, Streptococcus. Now they are very much helpful in medical sciences. How? If I talk about Monascus purpureus, then it controls the cholesterol. It does not allow the formation of cholesterol. You know, sometimes when you eat lot of ghee and all such fatty things, then your cholesterol level rises up. So then patients, they are given these statins. These chemicals, they control the blood cholesterol level by inhibiting its formation. So Monascus purpureus helps in obtaining statins, controls or lowers the blood cholesterol level. Correct? Talking about cyclosporine A, Trichoderma polysporum beta, nowadays organ transplantations is very common. Now suppose anybody's kidney got failed and that person is taking the kidney from some donor. Now that donor may be a different body now. Now if you're transferring a kidney of X person to Y person, the immunity of Y person should accept that organ. Otherwise there will be rejection of the transplant organ and it will be a complete failure, and it will be a high risk for the Y person who has taken that kidney from the donor. In that case, to avoid rejection, so that during transplantation, patients are given these cyclosporine A, which suppresses the immune system of the patient, so that the organ which is transplanted should be accepted by the body, and body should not reject it. It should accept as its own organ. So what is the role of cyclosporine A? It suppresses the immune system in a patient who has undergone organ transplantation. Who has undergone organ transplantation. Correct? Now, talking about the third, Streptococcus, which is used to obtain streptokinase, it is given to those patients who have undergone myocardial infarction, because of which their blood vessels, they have got blocked due to the formation of clots. So those clots are dissolved with the help of this streptokinase. So this acts as a clot buster in the blood vessels of the patient. In the blood vessels beta of the patients who have undergone myocardial infarction, simply called as heart attack. So patients who have undergone heart attack, their blood vessels, they clot. Now there's some clotting takes place in the blood vessel, because of which the blood supply to heart decreases and a patient becomes serious. So in order to remove those clots, streptokinase is given, obtained from the bacteria Streptococcus. It dissolves the clot, makes the blood vessel normal, and lets the blood directly supply to the heart and then to the body. So these are the certain bioactive molecules which are also useful in which are obtained from microbes, and yes, they make the life of human even better and easy. Now, next and very important use of microbe is treating your sewage. Every day, gallons of water is wasted in your sewage. You once go to the loo, you once go to the washroom, you just flush your system, and in one flush, liters of water is gone. I don't say that you don't have to flush. Yes, you have to flush, but it is very important that water should be recycled. Otherwise, daily these gallons of water, where will you dispose of? You can't directly dispose the sewage water in the river water bodies. Otherwise, they will get polluted, and again, it will be a high risk of disease and spread of epidemic. So, this sewage, which is generated on every day on daily basis, has to be first treated. So that we are going to learn in this chapter. For treatment of such huge amount of sewage, there are sewage treatment plants established in every city so that all the dirty water can be collected in that plant. Then it is purified. After purification, the water which is generated is dumped in the river, and then from the river again it goes back to your home. So this cycle goes on, and yes, water is getting recycled on daily basis. So first point you have to write, gallons of sewage collected on daily basis are recycled. They are cleaned and then dumped in the river water bodies, are recycled with the help of sewage treatment plant. In short, STPs. Correct? With the help of sewage treatment plants. Now, in sewage treatment plant, to clean the sewage, to clean the sludge, there are 3 steps, beta. There are 3 steps of cleaning taking place in STP. Physical step, which is called as primary treatment. Biological step, which is called as secondary treatment. And chemical step, which is called as tertiary treatment. So one by one, with the help of the diagram, we will try to understand each and every step of cleaning. Chalo, shall we start? Just listen to this like a story. Story ki tarah suno, enjoy it, and then you see how quickly you will learn. I will use diagram. At every step I will keep on drawing, and whatever I have to write, I will write it on this page or the next page. Meanwhile, you simply enjoy, listen it like a story going on in a movie theater. Chalo. So what is the first step? Collection of the sewage. So from here, all the sewage is first dumped in a primary settling tank. जितना भी गंदगी कलेक्ट होती है from the different parts of the city, it is brought and dumped in a very huge tank called primary settling tank. Correct? All the waste along with the water is fed in this primary settling tank. Now, the aim of primary treatment, we are beginning with primary treatment, is to clean the water and remove all the immiscible waste. Immiscible means some plastic bags must be there, bottles, pebbles, ऐसी कुछ गंदगी होगी जो पानी में dissolve नहीं हो सकती. Some may be heavier than water, some may be lighter than water. So, with the help of sedimentation and filtration, correct? With the help of sedimentation and filtration, we can remove all the impurities which cannot dissolve in the water. The impurities like pebbles and soil, which are heavier than water, they will get settled down as sediment. All the pebbles and stones and whatever soil, they will settle down, which is known as sediment. And some plastic bottles, some plastic bags, and all the impurities which are lighter than water but cannot dissolve, they will be removed as filtration. So the aim of primary settling tank is to remove the impurities on the basis of density and on the basis of their solubility in water, to remove the immiscible impurities by two events of sedimentation and filtration. Correct? Now, once the impurities which are floating on the surface of water, they will be simply removed, and the above water now become clean, and the sediment which is left, it will be left down. Filtration, sedimentation done. Now, after this whole lot of water which is now free from plastic bags, bottles, and all those stones and soil will now be fed into another tank called aeration tank. So this is your primary treatment. Now primary treatment is done. Now after this we are transferring to secondary treatment, which is biological, and the first tank of biological treatment is called as aeration tank. Right? Here some turbines are fitted. These are the turbines. Now all the water from here is fed into this tank. Now this water which is brought to aeration tank, beta, it is free from immiscible impurities, but it is fully loaded with organic miscible impurity. अभी वो सारी गंदगी है जो पानी में घुल गई. That all impurities is still present, which got dissolved in the water. Now it's a high time to remove those impurities which got dissolved inside it. For that, we need bacteria. Secondary treatment means biological. Biological means use of microbes, use of bacteria. So we use both the types of bacteria, aerobic as well as anaerobic bacteria. We use both the types of bacteria, aerobic and anaerobic, for our cleaning purpose. In first case, in this aeration tank, beta, what are we going to do? We are going to bring all the water from the primary settling tank, and after that we'll let this turbine move. Due to the movement of turbine, there will be heavy oxygen supply. हवा चलेगी, this water will become rich in oxygen. Oxygen is there, organic matter is there. That will lead to the growth of aerobic bacteria. Now what next point you will write? Primary treatment is done. Now secondary treatment. So first step is in aeration tank allows air, allows the growth of aerobic bacteria. It allows the growth of aerobic bacteria due to the movement of turbines. Beta, due to the movement of turbines. ठीक है? Now, due to excessive growth of aerobic bacteria, what happens? Now, in this dissolved organic matter, it will be rich in fungal filaments. So, those fungal filaments along with bacteria, they form mesh-like structure called flocks. So, these are flocks. What you will write at the next point? Now, second point, in aeration tank, what will happen? Aerobic bacteria along with fungal. बहुत सारी गंदगी होगी ना. In this aeration tank, the water which is fed is highly impure, rich in organic matter, rich in fungus and viruses and all other bad things. So whatever fungal filaments are there, with the help of bacteria, they will form flocks. Plus fungal filaments, they form a mesh-like structure called flocks. Now, what happens after the formation of flocks? So, the aim of this aeration tank is formation of flocks. Now, this flocks, this aerobic bacteria or fungal filaments, simply aerobic bacteria, beta, what they do, they use the oxygen which is generated due to turbine, and they start. Bacteria, their function is to feed on organic matter and decompose it. So these bacteria, they will act as decomposer. Fungi, they will act as decomposer, and with the help of oxygen, they will keep on consuming oxygen and they will decompose the organic matter. They will separate out the water from the organic matter, that is impurity. Correct? So what is the next point? The next point is these flocks which is generated will consume oxygen that is provided, will consume oxygen, and now will decompose the dissolved organic matter. Now will decompose the dissolved organic matter, thus cleaning the water. साफ कर रहे हैं पानी को, right? Thus cleaning the water. Right? Now the function of flocks is done. They are cleaning the water. Now little bit cleaning of the water is done. With the help of flocks, with the help of oxygen supply, they are just consuming the organic matter and cleaning the water. After this step, now from the aeration tank, this whole lot of water will be shifted into another tank called secondary settling tank, where this whole lot of water, which is now almost free from, almost not completely but almost free from organic matter, with the help of the flocks will be fed to secondary settling tank to allow that all these flocks which are moving here and there. Now these flocks are not healthy. Okay, we generated flocks, we created flocks to remove organic matter. So flocks removed organic matter, but we also do not want flocks. So now in secondary settling tank, we will let these flocks to settle down. Whole flocks will settle down as sediment. This is also known as activated sludge. Right? Now, whatever water is above, now this is sent to the next step. अब जो भी जरा सा भी organic matter रह गया है, so now third step will help in complete purification. Now from this, we will now fed the water into another tank called anaerobic sludge digester. So now it will be fed to anaerobic sludge digester. Here beta, complete blocked. This whole tank will be made to create anaerobic condition, so that anaerobic bacteria could develop inside it, and those here, यहाँ पर क्या किया था, in aeration tank we developed aerobic bacteria to remove organic matter. Here we will allow the growth of anaerobic bacteria to remove the remaining organic matter and to completely purify the water. Now when anaerobic bacteria will function, when they will decompose the organic matter, they will produce gases like methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide. In simple words, called as biogas. And you can collect that biogas, add a pipe, and you can collect the biogas for your cooking and lighting purpose. This whole is known as, till here, this all steps, this is known as secondary treatment. So what you have done in secondary treatment, let's write it also. So these flocks will consume oxygen and now will decompose the dissolved organic matter, thus cleaning. Now next point is, afterwards, इसके बाद क्या करेंगे? Afterwards, now the water is transferred to secondary settling tank. क्या करने के लिए? To allow the flocks to settle down. To allow the flocks to settle down. Once the flocks settle and whatever little bit water with organic matter is left above, then they are transferred to the next remaining effluent or remaining water above the flocks, is then transferred to anaerobic sludge digester, where under anaerobic conditions are created, where under बेटा anaerobic conditions क्या करेंगे? Bacteria will decompose the remaining. Which bacteria? Bacteria like methanogens. Bacteria like anaerobic bacteria like methanogens. क्या करेंगे बेटा? They will completely decompose the organic matter. Organic matter को decompose कर देंगे and they will produce biogas, which can be further used in making for cooking and lighting purpose. This is secondary. Now after this, at last comes tertiary treatment, which is chemical treatment, right? Now, beta, whatever water is collected from this tank is then sent to another tank where it is either treated with chlorine, ozone or any other such like alum. फिर the water is finally treated with such chemicals, and once chemical treatment is also done, and now you are ready to dump this water in any of the river water bodies like Yamuna or Ganga. Now this water is safe. Imagine if you're directly dumping the water from here, सफाई किए बिना, this water if you're directly dumping into the river water body, it is going to make a havoc. If you drink such water, definitely you know so many diseases you will develop. So before feeding the water of sewage in the river water bodies, these levels of cleaning should be done. The primary, where immiscible impurities are removed. Secondary, where dissolved impurities like organic matter with the help of aerobic and anaerobic bacteria is removed. And final is chemical treatment, which is done in order to remove your remaining whatever, maybe some text to improve the texture, to improve the flavor, to improve the color. So chemical treatment is done with the help of chemicals like ozone, chlorine or alum. Nowadays so many more chemicals are developed, but those chemicals make sure should be safe. It should not be like कि भाई वो chemical से ही disease हो गया. You're trying to clean the water, but anyhow you're again doing some mistake. So chemicals should also be human friendly so that they do not cause any trouble, right? So this is how the water is treated, and with this we come to the end of this simple short lecture where you have learned the roles of microbe in human welfare, majorly in treating your sewage. Hope you all have understood. So to know whether you have understood or not, try to solve this question. Meanwhile, I would like to say thank you for joining me. See you in the next session. Bye bye everyone. Take care.